that you're going to unleash your wanderlust, right? We've all been kind of stuck in, and I'm sure people are very excited to see what's right around the corner. And as we were talking earlier, as we get started, let me go back a little bit. For those that I haven't met before, my name is Brett from Friendship Tours. And Friendship Tours actually was started in 1977 by my mother. And many of you, some of you actually knew her before she passed, but her goal was always to build friendships through travel. She actually started early. She, as a Girl Scout, went over to Europe, actually. Her Girl Scout troop raised all this money. They jumped on a boat out of Montreal. So they took a train up there, sailed 2.5 weeks. And during 2 months, they went to over 13 different countries. And she fell in love with travel. Not only with travel, but topography, language. But more than anything, she built friendships that lasted her entire lifetime. And that friendship through travel, that's actually how Friendship Tours gets its name.
I gotta get, oh, here's his one.
There you go. And really, that friendship through travel was more important during the pandemic than ever. What we learned was it wasn't just the traveling, it was the connections. And so we were able to get on the road quite a bit this last year or so with people, and some of you have actually joined us on things both near and far. And what I love is that those connections is what this is all about. And Viking does such a great job of connecting. If you look at the screen, you're going to see they are now 7 continents, 95 countries, 403 ports, 5 oceans, 20 rivers, and 5 Great Lakes. And we definitely want to share a lot about those rivers. And that special expedition ship that you see in your lower right-hand corner, on the bottom left is the brand new ships that are going to be on the Mississippi. And of course, the expedition, so the Great Lakes, the Arctic, and the Antarctic. So before we get started, one of my favorite parts of Viking is actually their leadership and their owner. And he kind of sums up, I think, better than anybody where they're coming from. And I think a lot of us are as well. And so before we do this, I'm going to show you this video here.
Growing up in a little red house on the edge of a large forest in Norway, there were 3 things we were encouraged to be. To be kind, to be honest, and to be hardworking. These are things that each of us can control. Over time, I've come to add a 4th. Be curious. Be curious about the world around us, about the history and cultures of places we have yet to go. And then go. Go with an open heart and a curious mind, and you will find inspiration anew. The world awaits. Be curious.
Viking, exploring the world in comfort.
That really sums up what traveling and what Viking is all about, is creating an environment where the destination is really at the heart of it. And before we go any further, of course, we have to talk a little bit about what's happening in Ukraine. Obviously, our hearts go out to them. It's just been unbelievable to watch. But the reason I bring it up is we have some people that are actually on this call that are scheduled to go over and do one of the great itineraries along the Danube and finish up in Budapest. And along with COVID, Viking really has taken a lead in making sure that they are looking out for customers, looking out for our well-beings. I mean, they're the only ship in the world outside of military that has PCR testing right on board their ocean ships. So Lauren, did you just want to talk a little bit about what, if anyone is scheduled to go to Europe, some of the information that Viking is just sharing?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. I do recognize some familiar faces from the last few years, so it's so nice to see you all. Yeah, but Brett said it exactly. Our hearts are with the people of Ukraine. We recently found out that all of our crew and staff that work for us in Ukraine, Russia are safe. So that was a really big relief for the whole team. So they're safe and they're out of harm's way. So we have canceled all of Ukraine and Russia river itineraries for the remainder of 2022. So that's been canceled for about a week or two now. And then any of our ocean itineraries that are supposed to sail into Russia, those are being changed. We're just waiting for the final itinerary update on that. Other than that, everything else is sailing. So we have all of our rivers that start here in about 4 or 5 days. The first set that go out for the season, because we stop right after Christmas through middle March. So the rest of Europe is ready to go as of right now. We've got our crew ready, our ships are ready, and we're going to start welcoming guests here very, very soon. Of course, Viking always puts the safety and health of our guests first, no matter what. So if there's ever a situation where it's not safe for us to go into somewhere, we will not take you there, I promise. But as of right now, really the only affected ones are the place of Ukraine and Russia. And other than that, the Danube's doing great. We're about to start sailing there, France, the Rhine, pretty much everywhere. So we are, as they say, smooth sailing ahead.
Excellent. And we are going to talk mostly about North America today and the product that we talked about. But one thing I always want to keep in mind is, this industry has been decimated the last couple of years. And if you look at tourism is actually the third largest economy in the world. And it all was basically but stopped the last couple of years. So those European people that are all along the river, how many of them count on people traveling and being a part of that? So that's something just to keep in mind. You got to go when you feel safe to do these things. And that's what we always say, is that there is travel. The world is ready when you're ready to go. So we're going to give you a lot of different options. We're going to start off today actually talking about a 2023 itinerary that happens to be on a river in Europe. It's our fully escorted trip, Paris and the Alps. And I wanted to share that before we then go ahead and get into all the new and exciting things that are happening. So I hope you enjoy this next clip. If it will play. Unleash your wanderlust. Explore the world in comfort as your journey begins on this escorted friendship tours adventure with Viking River Cruises, as we explore Paris and the Swiss Alps. Our tour begins with transportation to the airport and flights to Europe. After 2 nights in Zurich, we travel via motor coach to Basel and board our Viking longship for our 7-night cruise. Along the way, we'll sail the romantic Rhine and Mosel River before finishing our tour with 2 nights in Paris. We will start in Zurich and finish in Paris. So when you watch this next clip, keep that in mind.
Join Viking for this intriguing 12-day cruise tour through 4 fascinating countries. In Paris, the City of Light, enjoy a 2-night hotel stay and a guided exploration of the city that includes a drive along the Seine River, past the city's glorious landmarks. The Louvre, Champs-Élysées, Arc de Triomphe, and others, plus time to explore on your own. Then it's on to Reims for its Gothic cathedral, and Luxembourg for the Luxembourg American Cemetery, to pay homage to those who lost their lives in the Battle of the Bulge during World War II. In Trier, stroll the quaint streets of Germany's oldest city, before beginning your voyage along the tranquil Moselle River. Step ashore in Cochem, where some of the world's finest Rieslings are produced, to enjoy a unique wine-tasting experience. You'll sail on from the Moselle to the Middle Rhine. This section of the river is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Enjoy historic Koblenz and its imposing landmark at the German corner, where the Rhine and Moselle rivers meet. In Mainz, step into one of the Upper Rhine's most dramatic cathedrals and browse the Gutenberg Museum, dedicated to the inventor of movable type and book printing. Spa is home to a stunning Romanesque imperial cathedral, the that's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. While Strasbourg, straddling France and Germany, is the charming cultural centre of France's Alsace region. Disembarking in Basel, Switzerland, you'll enjoy the splendour of the city's medieval Old Town district. Then it's on to captivating Zurich, beautifully set on its namesake lake. An exploration of this fascinating city, its intriguing architecture and inspiring views, is an ideal way to conclude your Viking journey.
The Middle Rhine Valley, with its castles, historic towns, and vineyards, is affectionately referred to as the Romantic Middle Rhine. The quaint villages and medieval castles were made an UNESCO World Heritage Site, highlighted by the 13th century Marksburg Castle, which towers over the river.
In Germany, the River Rhine cuts through steep hillsides and craggy cliffs to reveal quaint villages of half-timbered houses around every bend. This 80-mile stretch between Bingen and Bonn makes up the Middle Rhine, but the area is more affectionately known as the Romantic Rhine.
Highlights of this trip: round-trip transportation to the airport, flights to Zurich and home from Paris, 2 nights in Zurich, 7-night cruise, 2 nights in Paris, all meals on board, wine and beer with dinner and lunch, included shore excursion in each port, and escorted by Brett Isaacson, president of Friendship Tours. For more information, visit our website, www.friendshiptours.net, where a day-to-day itinerary, pricing, and flyer are available. To book, give us a call at 860-243-1630. To today's wonderful itineraries that we're going to actually travel up north. We're going to start with the new expedition vessels, Lauren. I know they're unbelievable. And then we're going to make our way down the Mississippi and talk a little bit about that. So why don't you go ahead and take it over?
Sounds good. All right, everyone. Let's jump right into here. Let me get my screen to share. Okay, can you see that okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so so we are going to travel through our expedition, our Great Lakes, and then the Mississippi. Now, the nice thing about Viking is that even though we are sailing on brand new vessels, we're in totally uncharted territory for Viking at least, our philosophy doesn't waver. So you can always be sure that we will be consistent across the board. Everything you know and love about Viking on the rivers, on the oceans, we continue that through all of our products. So we don't try to be everything to everyone. We really focus on English-speaking mature people with curious minds. They have an interest in history, culture, geography. We continue to be a destination-oriented cruise line, have a highly inclusive product, even on our expedition and our Mississippi. And of course, our staff is phenomenal. I think all of you that have sailed with us probably have so many stories of our amazing crew and everything that they have to offer when you're sailing with us. You know, we really treat them like family, and in return, they treat you like family, and that's really important to us. We will still continue with our serene Scandinavian spaces, that understated elegance. I remember the first time I stepped on board our ocean ships, I literally pictured this slide in my brain. One, because I'm always inside the slide, it feels like talking about it, but also this is exactly how it is. And those of you that have sailed with us know that it truly is a serene Scandinavian space, and it truly is understated elegance. It takes you a day or two to see all of those fine art details throughout the ship, and all of the elegant touches that our team and tour have put together on board all of our ships. So the Mississippian expedition are going to be no different to that. We are a thinking person's cruise, which I think is why you're all here today. We're made for the curious traveler. You want to travel to explore, to learn, to understand all of the intimate nuances of the destination that we travel to. And we'll continue with a lot of really amazing onshore and onboard activities that will bring in the region's cultures no matter where you travel to. And we will continue with our Viking way. So when you are on a short excursion with us, we typically put it into one of these 3 categories. So we have our local life, our working world, and our privileged access. The local life is where you will do, you live life like a local. What would you do if you lived there? What do you do if you, pick the kids up after school, or, want to go see the grandkids for the weekend? Where would you hang out? What would you do? And the working world is really catching a glimpse of what the passions are, what makes the world go round for these small towns and cities all across US and Canada. So maybe you'll go to a family-run dairy farm. You might go to one of America's oldest breweries and see all the inside workings of how they create the beer, so on and so forth. And then my absolute favorite is our privileged access. And this is where you get an experience that is exclusive to our Viking guests. If you were to travel to these same exact places, you would not get the same experience. So we take you behind the scenes, a before afters tour. Our friends and our family all over the world open their homes, their businesses, museums to us, and really give our guests a once in a lifetime experience. So we'll talk about a few of those as we travel through today. And just as a reminder, I like to talk about who we are by what we are not. So we still don't have any casinos, no children under the age of 18. We still don't charge for beer, wine with lunch and dinner. We have many alternative restaurants to choose from on all of our new ships, and there's no charge for those. We will have some self-service laundrettes, and those are free of charge as well. No formal nights, butlers, white gloves, that continues with Viking, and no nickel and diming. So the price that Friendship Tours here in Ship Shop give you, that's our price. So we have 1 shore excursion every port of call, all your onboard meals, wine, beer, and soft drinks. You have specialty coffees and teas are available 24 hours a day, free Wi-Fi, and then all your port charges and government taxes are included. So anything that you want to add on above and beyond that price is voluntarily what you want to do. So I wanted to start out with our expedition. In January, the Octantis officially started sailing. The Polaris will be joining us here in a couple months. They were named after the North Star and the South Star. Tor absolutely loves astrology and environment and all the places that we travel to. So it was really important for us to encompass the names in where this ship will be traveling. So it's absolutely stunning. 378 guests. We have 260 crew. They are a PC6 polar class. So for those of you that follow the polar class system, we are a PC6. So it can cut through ice and go through Antarctica and all of those cold weather destinations. Now, the expedition will be quite different from maybe what you're used to. These are brand new ships. A lot of times expedition ships are a refurbished survey vessel that they use as passenger ships, but at Viking, we created it from scratch. We drew it up ourselves and built it ourselves. So we will have it as a part research and science vessel and a part passenger vessel. So we have exclusive partnerships with what you see here on the screen: Scott Polar Research Institute, University of Cambridge, Cornell Lab of Ornithology, and NOAA. NOAA was a big deal in my household because my husband's a meteorologist, so he really fangirled over NOAA. He's been like kicking me to get on the ship so he can hang out with the NOAA scientists. But anyways, so at any given time, we will have up to 25 different researchers and scientists from one of these institutes. They will be doing real life research and science projects. So when you are going out on your landings on shore, in your Zodiacs, whatever it is, they're out there with you. When our VP of sales was on in January on the first sailing, and they had a whole group of scientists and researchers on there working on climate change and the way the polar caps are moving, migration of the animals due to climate change, and there was a full research science situation that was happening. So you are welcome to hang out with them, chat with them. You can also ignore them and never talk to them if you don't want to. But I just think it's a really fun aspect of the cruise that really brings in the destination with your travels. Here are just some highlights of the ship. So if you've been on our ocean ships, you'll notice a lot of it is designed after that. For example, the Explorer's Lounge. And I'll talk about each one of these here in a minute. We can't go without food here at Viking, so we make sure that you are taken care of. We'll have 6 dining options to choose from, no additional charge. My VP of sales that was on could not stop talking about the food. It's really all she could talk about. She absolutely loved the food, so you will not go hungry, I promise. And don't worry, Mamson's is on there. So if you guys have heard me talk before, then you know that I'm obsessed with the waffles at Mamson's. They're the best waffles you'll ever have, and you can't argue me on it. So those will still be there, so don't worry. And then we won't have 24-hour in-room dining like on our ocean, but we will have 24-hour options in our World Cafe. So you can get food at any time. It just won't be a room delivery service. So we will have Manfredi's, which is our great steakhouse. Our restaurant will be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have the amazing Aquavit Terrace, and this is where we'll have that indoor-outdoor experience. You can relax, enjoy your time here, and really experience the destination while still staying warm, I would say. We'll have 3 different pools on the outside, all different temperatures, so our guests can enjoy the infinity aspect with the glass and relax outside if you've got some nice weather. We'll have our amazing spa, no entrance fee for the spa. You just have to pay for services if you want to do a massage or something. And I love this because we actually have windows while you're hanging out in the pool and the spa that you can actually see outside. So it's really nice that you're not enclosed in the spa. And I just think this looks really lovely, and I would love to be in this right now, just relaxing and seeing Antarctica go by. Our Expedition Central. So this is where you will be very hands-on. You can take different classes here. One of them being photography classes. All of these birds that you see on the wall here, these are all handmade felt birds, and they are all made to scale. So they are made to the exact size, weight, height, wingspan of the birds that you will be seeing on your travels. So we will interchange them based on where we are in the world. So in Antarctica, you're going to see a lot of penguins. You're going to see a lot of different birds there. So we'll make sure we have our handmade felt birds that you can practice taking photos with, learn all about the birds, the migration of the birds. When we're in the Great Lakes, Point Pelee, something like that, we'll switch those out for different types of birds. We have a lot of different options for equipment. All this is included. There's no extra cost on any of these, which is great. Not all expedition cruise lines do that. A lot of them charge to go in the submarines. We don't. So we have our Zodiacs, we have our kayaks. What's really lovely about our kayaks, everybody, is that they are also foot pedal kayaks. So I consider that a friendship saver. Because I am probably the worst partner in a kayak. My arms get so tired. So I don't have to fret. My husband will not divorce me over it. I can just start foot pedaling and he won't freak out at me because he has to be the only one to hand pedal. Clearly I've dealt with that for a little while. It's been a problem. And then we also have our ribs, which will be amazing, and our submarines. So a fun little fact about our submarines actually is that our owner, Torstein Hagen, is a huge Beatles fan. And when we were creating our submarines, he said he wanted a yellow submarine, exactly like the Beatles. So we got licensing and approval to have the exact paint color. And they're now, 2 of them are on the Octantis and 2 will be on the Polaris. So the ones on the Octantis, they have named them John and Paul. So you can probably guess what the other 2 will be. But if you sail on the Octantis and you get to go out in the submarines, you get to travel with John or Paul from the Beatles. So I find that really cool. Also, Viking's attention to detail is phenomenal. It's unmatched. So we know that our guests are not going to want to be on the outside of the ship in these destinations trying to get in their watercrafts. So we have created an indoor hangar. So you will actually embark and disembark your Zodiacs or your ribs inside this hangar here. It's like a nice little Disney ride. You just hop right on through the gate. It'll take you out through a nice slipway function and then bring you back in that same direction. So you're not struggling on the outside of the ship. Now the kayaks can't go through here, so you will have to get out in one of the other boats and then get onto your kayaks. And then the submarines, I believe you do come inside and then it'll take you out and drop you into the water, which is pretty cool. So nice and comfortable. So our staterooms, we really have 2 staterooms. We have our Nordic balcony staterooms and then a suite level. And our Nordic balcony staterooms will be the main stateroom that you will stay in. And we realize that this ship's going to be in mainly cold weather destinations. So our guests aren't necessarily going to want a full step out private veranda with the closed door behind them and just sit outside for hours. So we create a hybrid method. This window that you see here, the top portion drops all the way down. So you still get that fresh air. It becomes a flat surface. You put a cup of coffee on there, just don't let it fall. You can take some photos, just relax. And that gives you that open air feel that you would have with a veranda. You have a nice little couch there, a little seating area. So it's kind of like a a middle ground, I would say, between a veranda and like an ocean view, but you actually get that room. Also in those staterooms, we have floor to ceiling warming and drying closets. So all of your expedition gear, when you're done for the day, will go into those warming and drying closets in your room. It'll dry them, it'll warm them, and you'll be ready for the next day. Someone did ask me one time if they could fit in those warming and drying closets. And yes, probably, because they are floor to ceiling, but I said it here first. I do not recommend it. So just so you guys know, I don't know how hot that gets. So this is what you get. You get to keep your amazing Viking expedition jacket. We will have included for free of use your boots, your pants, your walking poles that will be ready for you. And then we have a whole list of suggested gear to purchase prior to travel. And then of course, we'll have a shop on board. If you forgot something, you can purchase it on board. So our itineraries, we will be doing the Antarctic Explorer through, we're about to end the season right now and then start up again in the winter of next year. So this will be Buenos Aires to Ushuaia, 13 days, 2 countries. This is where you actually fly into Buenos Aires. You'll spend the night, and then we have a chartered flight that takes us into Ushuaia, and that's where you will board the ship in Ushuaia. Start your travels all the way down. You get 6 full days to explore Antarctica. So it is captain's choice, expedition team choice. This is the best part about expeditions and going to Antarctica. It is up in the air on what happens every day. So there's a lot of different factors that go into us getting off the ship, going on shore, getting in the submarines, all of that. So you just got to be open, flexible, ready for whatever nature wants you to do that day. And then we'll cruise back through the Drake Passage, up to Cape Horn, and then back into Ushuaia. Once the ship is done here soon in Antarctica, it'll come over through Brazil and into New York City. It'll go New York City to Toronto, and we'll start our Great Lakes season. So any of you want to travel close to home, if you've never seen any of the Great Lakes maybe, and you want to travel this summer, we do have availability. So we have 3 different 8-day options. We have our Toronto to Milwaukee, Milwaukee to Thunder Bay, and then Thunder Bay to Milwaukee. Every itinerary includes Mackinac Island, Michigan. We also have, our ship was specifically built so that it could go through the Welland Canal. That canal is extremely narrow, and usually it's only military ships that can fit through there. So Viking said, well, we basically try to be a military ship sometimes. So we will create our ship to be narrow enough to fit through that Welland Canal. You'll go into Niagara Falls, which is always such a fun time. And then you'll see Point Pelee, which will have a huge bird migration experience. You can work with our ornithologist there. Mackinac Island is a passenger foot traffic only island. I'm pretty sure every single US president has stayed there, if I can remember correctly. If I'm wrong for that, then I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure it's almost every single US president. And then also we have a 3-day Georgian Bay. If any of you have ever been to Georgian Bay, you know it's phenomenal. There's so many things to do in Georgian Bay, so much beautiful nature, hiking, swimming, kayaking, whatever you want to do. We'll go through the Sulaks Transit. It's a 9.5-hour transit system. And then we will also do our itinerary, Thunder Bay, Duluth, Apostle Islands, ones like that. Now, a lot of our guests were wanting to combine a lot of these itineraries, which we weren't able to do. So we created a brand new itinerary that will start in 2023. And this will be Duluth to Toronto, 15 days, and you will do all 5 Great Lakes. So that will begin in 2023 for our amazing guests. And those are the Great Lakes. So next I wanted to just discuss Mississippi as we travel. I guess we could go down south from the Great Lakes down into the US. And our Mississippi ship is built, it's done, it's in New Orleans. It just had its nice little practice float out, came back into Louisiana, and it's getting its finishing touches on there, and she's ready to go. So it will be doing, starting in June, are 5 different itineraries that we have. So we have America's Great River, which is our 15-day St. Paul all the way down to New Orleans. And then we'll have multiple 8-day options. So our New Orleans option, a round trip New Orleans, 8 days, 6 guided tours. You will start in New Orleans with an overnight, so you'll get the whole next day there as well. You'll travel up north once you hit Vicksburg, Mississippi. you will turn around and get down to Baton Rouge and come down to Louisiana. If you want to extend in New Orleans, we have great pre and post options, anywhere from 1 night to 3 nights. So you can definitely do that with Viking if you want to. And we have the Heart of the Delta, New Orleans to Memphis, and you can go in reverse as well. I think we have a few dates that do Memphis to New Orleans. And this is where you really get to experience the southern portion of the Mississippi, everything that Louisiana has to offer, Memphis barbecue, Natchez, just so much history here, and music and food, and such a great experience in southern Mississippi. We also have just the northern Mississippi, so St. Louis to St. Paul, or you can do St. Paul to St. Louis. This is where you will follow in the footsteps of Mark Twain, Lewis and Clark, learn all about the farming industry, how John Deere changed the way agriculture and farming processes. And you'll go to Red Wing, Minnesota, learn all about the history there, go to a lot of the museums, Burlington, the Quad Cities in Iowa. And in St. Louis, I absolutely love St. Louis. There's so much to do there. And again, you can extend if you want to in either side. We have only happening this December of 2022, we have the Mississippi holiday season. So this is New Orleans to Memphis. You'll see the whole South dressed up for the holiday season, and you will get 3 full days in Memphis on this itinerary. It's a lot of fun to see all the different mansions and areas that are dressed up for the holiday. And one thing that I love is that we are offering an optional privileged access experience where you will get a private tour after hours in Graceland. So Graceland is known for dressing up for the holidays, going above and beyond. Any Elvis fans in here probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So you will get a Viking guest only tour through the home and through the grounds, and have some free time in there as well to see everything that Graceland has to offer. And I think it's like a 16 or 18-foot couch that we're looking at right here. So lots to see in Graceland. So you can book that for the itineraries. And these are some of our pre and post extensions. So if you want to extend in the Twin Cities, you can do that. Minneapolis and St. Paul, there's a 2-night extension. We also have the Best of the Big Easy in New Orleans for a 2-night extension. You can do the Acadian Lafayette, so you can travel through the heart of Louisiana's Cajun country and really experience all of the cultural homes that they have to offer, the Creole flavors, and the Bayou. It's an awesome experience. You can do a 1-night extension for New Orleans if you'd like to. My absolute favorite, NOLA's Best, music, Mardi Gras, and cuisine. I don't know what more you need in life. That sounds like the best 3 days ever. So highly recommend that one. And you'll get some behind the scenes looks at the fabric of New Orleans history. You'll visit the National World War II Museum and celebrate everything NOLA has to offer during the Mardi Gras season. So like I said, the ship is brand new. I don't think the Mississippi's ever really seen a modern river cruise like this before. They're used to the old stern wheelers, paddle wheelers. So Viking's coming in and changing the game. It'll be 386 guests. We'll have about 147 crew on board, and everything you know and love about Viking and more. This is the reception when you walk in. And like I said, we always try to bring the destination onto the ship. So all of that writing you see on the wall there, that is a full Mark Twain excerpt all the way up. It goes about 5 stories up. So you can read that whole thing if you want to, starting at the top and go all the way down. Just try not to fall if you do that. But you'll see things like that all over the ship that also do Lewis and Clark expedition, everything. Along the Mississippi, we bring onto the ship as well. So it's an all-encompassing experience. We'll have our amazing living room that we know and love on our river and oceans. So a great gathering place before or after dinner, relaxing before or after a shore excursion, just hanging out. We always have our library available. We'll have an amazing river cafe, which will have a lot of local flavored food. So you'll have that Memphis barbecue, Creole cuisine. We'll have the American classics as well. This will open up into our Aquavit Terrace, which is our alfresco dining we have on board all of our ships. It's a signature of ours, and you'll really get to experience the Mississippi sitting outside, relaxing, just enjoying the destination while eating, drinking, and living life. We'll have a nice, beautiful infinity plunge pool. You can dip your little toes in there if you want to, and just relax and enjoy while you're scenic cruising through the Mississippi. If you've been on our ocean ships, then you'll probably notice our amazing Explorers Lounge. This is our 2-story floor-to-ceiling windows, one of my favorite places on our ocean ship. And you can just relax, grab a drink here. We usually have some light entertainment in the evening with some music. We have a great library that is always stocked with the local destination books. And it's a really fun place after dinner to just relax and hang out. During the day, if you want to just read a book and enjoy the scenic cruising, anything like that. So we always have a lot of really comfortable, like serene spaces to sit in and relax and just look outside and enjoy, maybe read a book. This is the top portion in the evening, so you'll get to see outside. And then on the ceilings and on the walls, you'll see that there is actually all the astrology of the area that we're in. So you'll see all the stars, and they'll put all those together in the ceilings too. This is the bow, so a great place for relaxation if you want to be outside all day, really enjoy the scenery. Then we have this open area that comes out from the Explorer Lounge. So our staterooms are a lot like our ocean staterooms. They will be really amazing, beautiful, comfortable, relaxing. I'm going to show just a few, not all of them. Brett and Donna and Heidi, they can always show you some 360-degree views that we have on our website. But this is we start with a French balcony, and then we have a veranda and deluxe veranda, 268 square feet. You'll have your step-out veranda, extra seating space. You'll have ample storage, heated tile floors, as always, anti-fog mirrors. You'll still have your toiletries available for you, bottled water, that doesn't change. We'll have the amazing penthouse junior suite, 400 square feet. You have a wraparound private veranda, 2 separate rooms, a living room, a little dining area, multiple TVs. This is our terrace suite. This is what I would stay in personally. There's 7 rooms on the ship that are a terrace suite, and it's a full-length wraparound veranda. It has multiple sunbeds that I probably would just sleep in 24/7 if I could. It's an absolutely stunning, stunning stateroom. So this is a great option if you don't know what to choose and you have an option for all of them. Any of them are great. Terrace suites, really nice. And then of course we have our Explorer suite. So this will be a separated, we have a dining, a little library, your living room area, totally separated, bedroom, walk-in closets, larger bathroom, and your full wraparound veranda. And that is all I have. I don't know if there are any questions, or if Brett, you wanted to jump in at all.
Yeah, well, I mean,
anything?
There's so many cool things that you just shared with us. So much to unpack. The expedition, so some of those Great Lakes, I know, Lauren, originally they were sold out. In fact, the Mississippi, when it first came out, it booked up so quick. We had people that had to basically go to 2023 and 2024, but I understand they've added some dates because they came in early on the ship. When do you ever hear that in today's world, right? Everything's like supply chain and this and that. They actually finished their construction early, which is really neat, and that allowed for some extra dates, correct?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for mentioning that. I forgot to mention that earlier. So yeah, so for that 15-day option, just yesterday or so, I was looking, and we do have some dates available for that in July of this year, early July, like July 9th, July 23rd. And then I think there's one date in August where there's some space for that 15-day. That's the one that's the hardest to get. That's the one that originally was sold out through 2023 and people were booking into 2024, but we were able to add some more dates. So that was really nice.
This was the Mississippi. So that's starting, up in Minnesota in St. Paul, and making your way all the way down. And for those that have been on the river, the mighty Mississippi, they often call it the muddy Mississippi. That's the South. But when you go up north, it is completely different. It's really amazing to see the different parts of the river and what it's like. And I love exactly what you were talking about, Lauren, which is this ship carries the same styles that you're used to. For those that haven't been on Viking, their owner, Mr. Hagen, Torsen, is unbelievable in that he is all about the details. If you don't know, they actually started, I believe it's now 40 years ago, right? His original ships were actually in Russia.
Yeah, well, for Viking, we're about to have a 25-year anniversary. Prior to that, he was with Royal Viking, which
Yep.
was a different cruise line, doesn't exist anymore. But so he's done this for many, many years, his whole career.
And
But Viking as a whole, Viking Cruises has been around. It'll be 25 years
yeah.
here in another.
So his whole background, though, he hated how ships had tiny little bathrooms. If anyone ever remembers being in a shower where you felt like you soap up the sides and turn in a circle, he hated all that. Like if you've ever gone to a hotel and gotten a shampoo and they've got that little plastic piece over it and you're trying to get
Oh,
it
he
off with
hates
your
that.
teeth.
Yeah.
So none of
Yeah.
that. They have their own toiletries, brands that they have. You'll never open up a shampoo and have anything but it actually come out when you squeeze it. Heated floors in a lot of the rooms, in the bathrooms. They're just every little detail. And you see it from the original long ships to, of course, now the expedition ship and all of the products. So I think it's pretty unbelievable to see how they've really carried those things that people who have been on Viking absolutely love and they know to expect. Even simple things like the remote. When you go into your stateroom, it's simple. You'll notice there aren't a ton of buttons. It's really straightforward. When you're out on your shore excursions, the whisper system. So that's where the tour guide is actually talking and you have an earpiece and you can hear them. So you don't have to be right on top of them. And I'm sure with the expedition, they're going to do some really neat things so that as you're doing some of these adventurous different things, you actually have these once in a lifetime experiences. So the Great Lakes was another product line that there were some dates added on. And actually,
Yeah.
I've been looking at July products quite a bit, and I think that Heidi and I might jump up and do one of those. So I will keep people posted, and if there's a date that we're looking at and you want to come along, we'll definitely put that out there. But I think why don't we
will start? Oh, sorry. I was just going to say
Oh.
that like the Undiscovered Great Lakes Itinerary, which is an 8-day, the Exploring the Great Lakes, that starts in May and goes through September. And there are some dates here and there, just kind of depending on the month. So all for this year. So yeah, if you want to do something close by, you can hop on in Milwaukee, Thunder Bay, Toronto, and travel through. So it's nice.
And of course, you're going to have the whole scientific view. When you were talking about Mr. Huggins' love for the stars. So for those that don't know, they take education to the nth degree. What do I mean by that? We were in Bermuda in June, and we were on the Orion. And the Orion actually has a planetarium on it. But in addition to that, they actually have their own in-house astronomer. Now, this isn't just some professor. This actually was a guy, his name is Charlie Armstrong. He's a NASA scientist. He actually designed and had a lot to do with the modern spacesuit. And not only himself, but his wife. She was the most amazing person. She's like, yeah, I went to a small technical school in Massachusetts. I'm like, MIT? She's like, yeah, that's the one. But these guys,
school.
yes. So we are literally up on top. He had done a presentation on why going to the moon does take actually a rocket scientist. And he talked about why it was important. And then we literally went up one of the nights and looked at the moon with them through this amazing telescope. And so those are some of these once in a lifetime experiences that are unique to the Viking brand. And that's just one example. And I could tell you about a lot of different ones. But so I think it's something that really separates this product line. There's so much included. And what I love about Viking is it's so important to know what you are, but it's also important to know what you're not. And they always lead by saying like, listen, we are about destinations. Our ships are amazing and they're great places to be, but we are going to immerse you in the place that you're going. You're going to learn about it. You're going to experience it. You're going to do it from food to music to education. And their staff, when we were on the ship in June, that normally holds about 900 people. Now, this is the same size as many vessels that hold 2,200. So think about all that space. It's so common to be on the ocean ships, or I can only imagine the new ships that are coming out like the Mississippi, but you see people just curled up in a corner with a book. And
Oh, yeah.
sometimes you even
That's
see
nice.
people napping, closing their eyes, because it's just, there's so many spaces. You don't feel crowded. You feel
Yeah.
so at home. And that's
Yeah.
the
You
best
never
thing
want to
about
leave.
it.
That's the bad part.
No. And
You never want to
so
leave.
I'm always happy to talk about this product. It's a product that I've been on quite a bit myself. It was the first cruise that we actually got back on it and did with the ship shop when we restarted cruising. And we had clients go down, and just all the little details were really taken care of. So if you're interested, we'd love to give you more information about it. If there are any questions, I will invite people, if they want to unmute, you can certainly do that and ask a question. If you want to type one in the chat, you can do that as well. And, you know, a couple things that I just love, if you looked at those Great Lakes itineraries, many people with Friendship Lauren have been to Mackinac. So it's one of the
Oh,
trips
nice.
that
Okay.
we do via motor coach. So you actually start
Was
in
I
Connecticut.
correct about the presidents? Was I correct?
You know, I know lots of them have been out for sure.
Yeah, I think
Um,
I feel like someone told me that I have
So the
really issues
Grand
remembering that,
Hotel is
but
just that,
yes.
grand, and it's the
Yeah.
largest porch on any building in
Mhm.
America.
Yes. And it's
There
all
are,
horse and carriage or foot or bike, right?
yep,
I haven't been,
no
so I
vehicles,
need to
not
know.
even fire trucks.
Right,
They actually
right.
have some of the best fudge in the world. But we have people that will travel literally 12 days, you know, a round trip going on 11 days on motor coach. You get to basically stop right there, and you do it from the water, which I think is really special. Everybody comes onto the island via ship when we go, and then the Mighty Mac. It's this amazing bridge, which is an engineering masterpiece. You actually will sail right underneath that. The other thing that I loved that you said was this ship was built specifically for a canal. They think
Yeah,
of so many things, you know, they wanted to be able to literally travel all of the Great Lakes, and that's done through canal systems. It can be, you know, I think it's over 15 feet of change in the water, 15 to 20 feet to go from the different lakes. So really neat. You've got wonderful areas. If you haven't been to Milwaukee and all the lakes around there, it's definitely, this part of our country is such a, like, a lot of times people haven't visited. People ask me all the time, where do you want to go? Where should I go in the world? And I always ask people, how much of our country have you seen? And I
Yeah.
can't think of a better way to do it than through what was once the superhighways, right? There's more commerce on the Great Lakes, big giant container ships. They are magnificent. If you haven't had a chance to see them, it's almost hard to put into words what some of these lakes really look like. And then the Mississippi, that was the superhighway of our country. And still to this day, the amount of commerce that goes up and down that river is just magnificent. So, and then I know you were talking about the expedition stuff. I have to say, one of the prettiest places I've ever been in my life is Ushuaia. And
Oh, yeah.
it's the most southern city in the world. It is,
Kevin is agreeing. I'm seeing Kevin agreeing
yeah,
over
it
there.
is just such a special place. Basically, the land, it's just so neat. Magellan, the straits there, and Tierra del Fuego, and just some great stuff. But
Yeah.
there's so much here. I know we could talk all day, and you did such
Yeah.
a great job sharing it.
I think Ron had a question. I feel like I saw Ron trying to talk for a second.
Yes,
but I don't-
hi, Brett and Lauren. So nice to see you again.
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was going to say I didn't see any prices posted for these various tours as yet. Will you be having that published for people like us so we could see what we're looking for, you know, to pay for these various? I didn't see any. I saw a good, you know, write-up and a discussion of what it is, but I mean, how much would it be? You know?
Yeah. Is there an
And
itinerary, Ron, that you're interested in?
And I, you know, with the fuel prices spiking, and you know, I know the airlines says, you know, if you buy a ticket, we honor it no matter what the price of the jet fuel goes to. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, you could buy tickets 3 months in advance, and who knows what in 3 months it'll be. You know. as far
Oil
as
prices are going up? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
So
no,
Ron,
they're
what
not
you're
at
saying
all,
is
no.
that
Didn't know.
the
Buy-
trips,
buy a-
what's
buy a
nice is they
gallon,
are
get-
going to be a
get two
set
free.
price. So the price, if you purchase now, they are, prices that are kind of set. So that's always
Oh,
great.
yeah.
There's
Okay.
actually quite a few different prices. So to give you an idea, the 15-day Great Lakes adventure kind of starts from about 1,400. The 8 days, like Niagara to the Great Lakes,
14,000.
that's more around 6,000 or so. But again, this is all your meals. You've got a shore excursion in each of these places. So one of the things that Viking does is they put everything in. So once you've got your price, you know what you have. Now you can do additional shore excursions, but even those are very reasonable. What I found, like when we were in Europe, often if there was an extra, like when we were just in Germany, we actually did a concert one night. And that concert was an extra $50. So the shore excursions can be quite reasonable if you do. In addition, there's always one included in all the areas. Thunder Bay also starts off kind of from that about 8 days, and that's somewhere around 7,000. If you were looking at, let's say you were looking at the Mississippi, if you give me a second, I can give you an idea of what those will run as well.
And Donna's your person when you have a specific question. There's definitely an itinerary you want to check out, because to publish the pricing on all of these is just too much, because there's not a lot of space available in every sailing.
Yeah.
So it's worth, Donna's happens to be on a cruise now, but when she gets back middle of next week, she's going to have a lot more answers for you for specific
Thank you, Heidi.
sailings.
Thank you very much. I've got to ask you a question.
Sure.
I've been on cruises and things. My wife and I have been on a lot of cruises, and there's a lot of things that are actually that you had mentioned. You said like the Mississippi is very muddy in the southern end. Well, the thing is, around Beale Street in Memphis, there's a place called Mud Island.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's a big pyramid. And I think there's aircraft and stuff in there. It's like a museum. And it's right at the end of Beale Street. And I mean, it was really, really muddy there. I took
For sure, Ron.
It was, you couldn't even see the fish or, anything.
And there's a reason for that, actually. So when you're on board, there'll actually be scientists that will tell you why that is. It's really neat. You'll learn about how they navigate on the Mississippi, because it's really unique. There's a reason why Mississippi is still one of the most known words anywhere in the world. And of course, that dates back to Mark Twain, right? And so, yeah. And so it's absolutely amazing to learn these different parts. I actually think as you come down the river and you get to see the different animals and the different changes, and just the transit when you're down by New Orleans, and from Vicksburg, of course, there's all the history that goes along with the Civil War that's along there. So there's a little something for everybody on those products. To give you an idea, the Holiday Mississippi, that one's an 8-day. That starts off at about 4,000. So it gives you kind of an idea of what that is. But there's so much here. So Ron, I really appreciate the question. And again, we can get you pricing on any of these trips. So it's just simply contact us and we will take care of that. We are just about at 5:55 and I want to respect everybody's time. So I really thank everybody for joining. If there are other questions that people have, we're happy to stay on and go into that information for you. I do want to just quickly share one other thing with you guys, which is when you're ready to go ahead and start looking to book, you just simply give us a call. And on that other video, I think I shared with you our phone number, but our website, friendshiptours.net, you can get all of the information there. And in addition, you just give us a call at our 800 number. And then if you enjoyed today, we actually do have some unique virtual events that are coming up. So our next one is actually going to be a Wednesday. We've been trying to do them on Thursdays, but our next one is going to be a Wednesday. And we're going to kind of explore a little bit of the world of trip travel protection. So Viking has trip travel protection, and it's so important in today's world that we make sure that we are a customer that's aware of what's happening, and that we've put these things into place so that we can enjoy the trips and not have to worry and do different things. So this is going to be one of the companies, Travel International, Insured International, but that's going to be on our More Than Tours, and you'll get a information. You're also going to go ahead and get a video, if you're on today, of this presentation. So if you want to go back and look at something, but this is definitely the beauty of what is right around the corner, the expedition, the Mississippi, of course, the same wonderful rivers that you've known and loved for many, many years. Europe, you've literally got Asia, Egypt. So if you didn't know, there, again, I showed you the slide in the beginning of all the oceans, all the different continents, the Great Lakes, and it really is a product that's out there. It's ready when you're ready, and we can't wait to have you join us again. So thank you all. Lauren, thank you so much. You always do a great job, and I know it was not a small task to get through all of this information.
Yes, she did.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's always lovely seeing you guys, and
Yeah.
Friendship Tours and Ship Shop is my favorite. So you guys are in good hands, and it's always lovely seeing you. And I hope to see you on board